Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick.
And this is a less hairy Justin.
Yes, we have coffee and Justin in this episode.
I don't have coffee because I've finished my coffee. Melbourne coffee. Gotta love it.
It's very, very good. Welcome back to the Hangar Bay, our weekly show where we talk about your submitted X-Wing lists, and we're back over to the Empire this week.
Yes, and this week we are talking about the TIE Advanced V1.
Yes.
Now, this was a ship that was debuted on Star Wars Rebels.
Yes, a really, really cool cartoon / 3D animated sort of kid show, but also pretty cool for us adults too.
Yeah, had Thrawn. Thrawn was great.
Thrawn was very good. If you haven't checked it out, actually do it. I think it's one of the better extracurricular Star Wars shows or pieces of media out there. A lot of cool content for the game of X-Wing. But we're going to talk about the TIE Advanced prototype right now, which is a really, really fun and interesting ship. Kind of borrows the form factor of the Sith Infiltrator and the TIE Advanced.
Yeah.
Those sort of curved solar panels were exactly what the Sith Infiltrator looked like. I suppose the idea of Sinar was sort of transitioning from that to the modern TIE Advanced. It's meant to be what the Empire was playing around with before Vader's TIE Advanced X1.
Yeah, now in the show, the wings actually folded in on themselves, which looked amazing. You don't get this in the actual model.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You do get a colour change in the second edition.
Yeah,
the first one was white. This one is a slightly more...
Is it the blue one?
Imperial blue sort of colour.
Which is a scheme they've used on some of the older TIE fighters in the first edition. Nice little bonus. Yeah. Why not? Apart from that, if you get the one that just came out, it's the same as what you would get in the conversion kit, so there's no point if you're an older player. But if you're a newer player, absolutely pay attention to this ship because it's doing a lot in the meta, both in hyperspace and extended.
Yeah, you mainly see it with the Inquisitor, although Grand Inquisitor also gets a bit of play.
A little bit, but mainly we're talking generic Inquisitors. There are two really big reasons why this is seeing a lot of play, just as like a generic en masse kind of thing, like 2 or 3. Basically, it works really, really well with the upgrade card Supernatural Reflexes.
Strange that.
Very, very strange. The action bar it has is focus, evade, target lock, barrel roll to red focus, and boost to red focus. Because of the interaction on Supernatural Reflexes, and because of the points cost, it's only 8 points on the generic Inquisitor.
Which is a steal.
It's a steal because you're taking 3 actions a turn.
Yeah.
You can boost or barrel roll, do a red focus, and then if you do a blue maneuver, which this has a ton of, you then get to clear the stress and do another action. And that is nuts.
Which is either
I'll be an evade,
target lock.
You can't do another focus, but who cares?
But another, like having focus and an evade, everyone knows, pretty good.
And also, this ship, in terms of what it does that other ships don't, it is, quite frankly, the most agile ship in the game.
Yeah, now, I was a bit hesitant to say that earlier, but then you showed me all that blue on the number 1 as opposed to number 2.
That's what it's all about. And look, it's not better or faster than, like, your Interceptor, Fang Fighter, A-Wing, TIE Silencers, but they all have their blue maneuvers at speed too. And it's not better or worse having it one way or the other, but it's pretty good being able to fly that close, especially when we're Initiative 3 and you have the option of either being like the ace platform, just dogging on Initiative 1 and 2s, or you're fighting against Initiative 5s and 6s and you're the blocker. It's so good blocking with a ship with this dial.
Yeah.
Especially with all the boosts and barrel rolls and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really solid. It plays both roles quite well. I think it, in general, makes a better ace, but honestly, that's not what the meta's doing right now. The meta is far more interested in the generic Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising. Now, I just want to make this statement before we get into the list. I don't think the generic Inquisitor is busted or degenerate. I just think this is a result of everything just getting a lot fairer. It's a ship that I was looking at very early on thinking, oh, this is something that we should be looking at. But early on, we had things like Redline and Whisper and all kinds of really dumb stuff that was overperforming. And I think, honestly, the Inquisitor being where it is right now is good and fair. It might go up a little bit in the next points change, but...
it is also getting a new pilot with the Fifth Brother, with the Heroes and Aces pack.
No idea what he's going to do, but look forward to that. Another Force user of some kind. I mean... That's all we're interested in on this platform. But yeah, without further ado, let's have a look at these lists. If you would like to submit a list for us to have a look at in one of these Hangar Bay episodes, simply copy all of the text, including all pilots and upgrades, into a comment down below in one of our YouTube videos. Please also be sure to include a link to that squad within your favourite squad builder. Now, if you're unsure how to do this, simply head over to Yet Another Squad Builder 2.0. They have a fantastic squad builder built into this website. You have drop-down menus that can help you find all the upgrades and everything that's legal for the ships that you want to build with, as well as a simple text viewer that you can use to copy out all the text. And if you're part of the Patreon Discord, put all of this into the relevant list submission channel on that. Every week here, we are sure to include one patron list, so if you're part of the Patreon Discord, it means you have a much higher chance of being featured in one of these videos. Let's start off with a list from our Patreon Discord by Urban Caver with a few generic Inquisitors and Suntefel.
Yeah, now the Inquisitors have passive sensors and concussion missiles.
Suntefel has Predator. First up, that's great. Yeah.
Got 13 points for a bid, which is what you want.
With Predators, always solid. I will say, though, before we dive into the conversation about the Inquisitors, Suntefel has a new toy now.
Yes, the targeting computer.
Indeed.
It is 3 points.
It is 3 points.
That's pretty good.
I don't think in general you're going to want to combo it with Predator because it's just more of the same effect. It's not terrible.
I think instead you'd go targeting computer and crack shot, possibly.
But let's talk about these Inquisitors. We have passive sensors and concussion missile, which I think is just solid.
You obviously can't fit supernatural reflexes on here, but passive sensors is really good.
It's really, really solid. We were also mentioning before we recorded this video the combination of passive sensors with supernatural reflexes. Yeah, there's nothing against doing that.
Oh, that's disgusting,
It can't be coordinated. It can't happen before. I mean, there's no way to combo it with supernatural reflexes. But yes, it just gives you a bit more agency over those target locks. Cool, you can have a focus and a calculate. Sure, not in this list, but that is an option you can have. There's a lot of flexibility with these builds, and I don't think not having a force upgrade is too detrimental.
Actually, just quickly, if you cut the concussion missiles, you could then put on. I mean, it's you're eating into your bid a little bit, but then putting on supernatural. Is concussion better than supernatural?
Is concussion better than supernatural? Answer in the comments. No, but seriously, you'd be adding another 6 points overall. You'd have a 7-point bid instead of a 13-point bid. Passive and supernatural versus concussion missiles. Concussion missiles can end games faster.
Yeah.
I like that approach better myself. Although, if you have supernatural and passive on all of them, they all survive into the late game. They're all more versatile ships, and blocking is great alongside Suntefel. So, look, there's definitely a conversation. And the bid, well, it depends on your own local meta or if you're going to a major tournament. If I was going to a major tournament, I'd want the bigger bid. I think that's really important because the meta is so open and 10 points plus is just where you want to be. 7 points with Suntefel can be a bit sketchy sometimes, especially with some of the stuff flying around these days.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think it's strictly better or worse going supernatural over concussion, and that really does highlight how flexible these platforms are.
Yeah.
Not too much more to say. It just seems really solid.
Also, just quickly.
All right, let's move over to some lists from our YouTube comments. This is quizzes by Kasperoinks. I think it's pronounced correctly. Yeah. We have what I wanted to have a look at because it seems like a pretty straight down the line meta list. This is the kind of thing that you would expect to see at a tournament. In fact, I'm pretty sure something similar to this was in the top 16 at the Oz SOS from memory.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, a couple of Inquisitors, Colonel Jendon in the Lambda-class shuttle, and a Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, now the Inquisitors have supernatural reflexes, concussion missiles, and fire control system on both of them.
Yep, correct. Colonel Jendon has jamming beam.
And the Grand Inquisitor is naked.
Indeed, he is. And also in the comment this was left in, you were talking about how you can strip back these Inquisitors, taking off supernatural reflexes, and switching out the Grand Inquisitor for Lieutenant Car Sabi on the Alpha-class Starwing. Which is not irrelevant. That's a lot of firepower if you really want to go that way.
I do like it. Oh.
You like the Grand Inquisitor, don't you?
Grand Inquisitor's good, but also... I don't know.
Also, adding Jendon in the mix for that Alpha Class Starwing.
Alpha classes are really good.
Well, that sort of fat car Starby build, it is proven, but also the points on everything kind of went up a little bit, so I don't know how effectual it is. I mean, it's at the cost of Supernatural Reflexes on the Inquisitors, and it's really, really solid.
Yeah, Supernatural Reflexes is just... it makes the list, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Also, fire control system instead of passive sensors, and I think this is worth a discussion. There's nowhere else to shave points out of this. You've gone all the way up to 200. Concussion missile, I feel like, is the cheapest piece of ordnance that isn't niche. Concussion missile, to me, is always somewhat relevant in a game.
Yeah, you do have the 3 charges on the concussion missiles, which is...
That's
not
right.
Insignificant.
It gives you an extra dice, and also because the ship's at range 0 of itself, it always exposes a damage card. It gets better and better against certain lists, sure, but I think it's a solid thing to have overall. A lot of people are submitting lists with like homing missiles and cluster missiles and that kind of stuff. They're great situationally. I really have to stress that. You're saving a couple of points, and look, maybe just having passive sensors is better. I mean, at the end of the day, passive sensors does make your primary attack really consistent.
Yeah. Just quickly, though, with fire control system, you need to have the target lock to use the concussion missile.
Yep.
So you will be getting some buff off it.
Yeah, basically.
Anyway.
You're going to be using it.
Yeah.
You don't get any linked actions off a target lock. Although the target lock is just going to be that last action you take. Actually, that's another sort of extra benefit of Supernatural Reflexes. It can get you into ranged target lock if you weren't already in range.
Oh, that's true.
Barrel rolling or boosting, so you just nab range 3 and get that target lock. Yeah, Supernatural's great. Supernatural's great. Really, really solid. Jendon for the extra firepower. And, yeah, even just giving the Grand Inquisitor a target lock early on. I do like the Grand Inquisitor. I don't think he's proven yet in terms of what people, how they want to build him out, that kind of stuff. I like Grand Inquisitor with nothing.
Yeah, it works because you can spend that force to make it a range 1 attack.
Yep.
I used to fly the Grand Inquisitor back in 1.0 and he worked.
Very good. You flew him with Rack, didn't you?
Yeah.
Probably fit more in that list now, actually. That's something we should have a think about, actually.
That is terrifying.
Yes, it is indeed. Let's move on to our next list. This one here by Dasher with Vader, the Grand Inquisitor, Seven Sister, and Night Beast.
Oh, Night Beast. Now, Vader has fire control system and afterburners.
Both Grand Inquisitor and Seven Sister has fire control system.
And Night Beast is naked.
And that's fine. I think Night Beast with nothing is really what you want to be doing there.
Yeah, well, you don't have the talent slot there, so...
No crack shot like that. You actually can't fit the Black Squadron crack shot combo in. It cost 1 more point, and there are no points to spare here. It doesn't matter. They're focusing. Yeah. It's like he's got a force token. Kinda. Yeah, sure. Execute a blue maneuver. Oh, that dial doesn't have many blues on it.
I suppose if you really wanted to, you could cut afterburners for hate on Vader.
Oh yeah, sure.
But at the same time, afterburners on Vader...
It's fine. Grand Inquisitor, Seven Sister with fire control system both just seem really, really solid. I just can't complain about either of those builds.
No.
And this is a lighter version of Vader. Obviously, we love to see hate on Vader. That is our jam. Yeah. Absolutely. It's just so valuable. And I honestly, I'm looking at this trying to think, like, what could we do with it? Going down to an Academy pilot, save 3 points to maybe get hate on Vader if you really want to. Dasher, if you've flown this, that's something I would suggest if Night Beast is just doing you no favours. End of the day, Academy pilot makes no difference if you're not getting that ability working.
Yeah, but it's the fringe case. If you get it 2 or 3 times in a game, is that worth 3 points?
Yeah, if you like fly them all together and like Night Beast focuses up, and then you have like 4 focused attacks. Yeah, I suppose it seems pretty good.
Actually, hang on. So with it says after you fully execute a blue maneuver, you may perform a
Focus action. Yep.
So can you get a focus and an evade in one turn?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So that's how it... Yeah.
It's a bonus action. That's not a problem at all. I mean, Night Beast isn't getting more rerolls or anything. It's just a decent value. It's 3 points for that ability. That's what you really got to think about here.
3 points, and you've got 4 maneuvers that are blue.
That's right. I mean, you could just take Canny Pilot and go for a 3-point bid. I mean, I suppose...
I don't see the point of having a 3-point bid with these.
Yeah, I mean, Initiative 5 and 6, I mean, if anyone else is flying this, you want Academy Pilot again. You want Academy Pilot in the mirror match.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen too often, though. People take bids with these ships. So basically, you're putting this collection of ships on the table at the cost of a bid. I think that's fine. It's going to feel bad when your opponent flies like Fen Rao against this with a 1-point bid. That's going to suck so much. These are things you got to think about and really try to mitigate those feel bads as best you can. But that's the game. And look, you get to fly some really cool iconic characters, and that is all right.
The final list we have today is by Jim Ray Puck, and it is 2 Inquisitors and Colonel Vessery.
Yep, Vessery has outmaneuver and advanced senses.
And the Inquisitors have precognitive reflexes, fire control system, and concussion missiles.
Indeed. And this is something we want to talk about because of balance, the big B word.
Oh, Vessery 100 points.
Vessery at 100 points. And this is a really cool platform. Don't get me wrong.
No, I love the TIE Defender. Love it.
It's really cool.
Love it so much.
Early on in the days of 2.0, we saw stuff like this. We saw like Vessery, Vader, or 2 Defenders and that kind of stuff. It just hasn't caught on. And the main reason for that is because every single decision and dice roll is life or death when you run 2 small ships in your entire list. And every maneuver is just so important. The reason I say that is because you're basically running a 2-ship list. 2 Inquisitors with precognitive reflexes. That's the big clincher here.
Yeah.
I am interested in precognitive reflexes on the Inquisitor. Honestly, that's something I talked about when it was first revealed. But as we were looking through these lists, as we were analysing this, no. Honestly, for 4 more points, supernatural reflexes gives you 2 more actions. Yeah. And it's huge.
That is massive.
It is huge. It is worth way more than the actual points difference on the cards. Whether or not that means precognitive reflexes should be cheaper or supernatural should be more expensive, I mean, that remains to be seen. The fact of the matter is FFG have already upped the points on supernatural reflexes and it still sees significant meta play.
Yeah. And I just go back to Vessery at 100 points. You can do so much with 100 points.
Let's talk about that because there are some strong options here we can do. Because for under 80 points, we can actually get a really solid Vader build in.
A fat Vader.
Fat as far as Vader goes. Yeah. And I've spoken about Vader. I think he's an absolute steal in the game right now. Something like Hate, Fire Control System, Afterburners.
Yeah, I think that's really 78 points or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's just below 80. And then you can upgrade an Inquisitor to like 7 Sister.
Yeah.
And that is slightly cheaper than what you're doing still. That's something worth thinking about. Now, the TIE Advanced X1 is not as good as the TIE Defender. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of Vader's impact on the game...
Vader does so much.
He denies so much damage and just pumps it out so consistently. Look, what FFG have to do with the TIE Defender to make it more viable, I don't know. We'll find out. It's just... It's a really rough thing. They had the same issue in first edition because it was that sort of more than a third of your list but a bit less than half of your list kind of cost. And it was just always awkward until they just made it cheaper so it could be like a 3 of in a build.
As much as I love the Defender, it can't be a 3 of list.
No, it can't. It actually physically doesn't fit.
Oh, no, even if you have a points change.
No.
And we drop it. It's not...
It's too powerful, that action bar and everything. It's right. It's not wrong at the points cost it is.
It's just that everything else does so much more.
Well, just
not more.
Pilot abilities.
Yeah.
Vader with 3 Force tokens with that ability. Yeah, it's awkward. I don't think it's never going to see play, but I think things have to move around, as they always do. Maybe a hair cheaper in the next points change, but look, we'll see. A list like this really does highlight the issues. It's taking Supernatural off those Inquisitors. It's too painful.
Yeah.
It's too painful. I just want Supernatural on them so badly. I mean, you would have to cut advanced sensors and change it to fire control system, which is actually not terrible. But yeah, and then you're really cutting back on Vessery's power level. Yeah, awkward.
No.
Awkward.
Yeah, doesn't quite work.
I really do want to see something work with the TIE Defender. Just try and get this to balance on. So Jim Ray, if you're watching, let us know how this goes. My gut feeling says the value you're potentially not getting out of Defender is probably going to hold this list back a bit too much, but let us know anyway. I'm very curious.
I suppose if you really wanted to still fly a Defender, you could change it to a Onyx Squadron. That does drop the points a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, it's a very, very different kind of thing at that point. You're cutting off 9 points and then you've got 15 points to play with. I mean, these are options. Then you can change those supernatural reflexes. Onyx Squadron, again, is very awkward because that kind of dial and action economy, you really want to be using the high initiative stuff, especially with Vessery. Vessery has an amazing pilot ability.
No, not doubting that for a second.
Indeed. So from that point of view, it actually works quite well alongside like the fire control system concussion missile kind of build. I totally get that. I don't know. Maybe if there were like cheaper ships that could take target locks. I don't know. I think it needs a lot of work. If anyone can, like in the comments, suggest, hey, maybe try to balance it out this way, let us know, because it's just one of these awkward things that I'm curious about trying to balance out, but I'm not quite sure where it's at right now. And that is it for this week's Hangar Bay. Thank you for all of those submissions. What are we doing next week?
Next week is the Resistance Pod.
Excellent. Oh, great. I'm glad I have you to remind me of these things. Yes, we're going to talk about the Resistance Pod. It's the one Resistance ship we haven't spoken about yet, so there'll be lots of chats about Finn and all that kind of stuff. So, as always, in the description down below, submit some lists for that, and absolutely anything else as well. Don't forget you can submit lists for any faction or whatever. We'll get round to it eventually. And we do wildcard weeks as well, where we talk about anything. I don't want everyone just to submit lists for what we're doing the very next week over and over again. I'm trying not to encourage that. Try to encourage a bit more creativity.
Yeah, so, we do look at every single list when we go through this.
I do specifically try and go back as far as like a week or two ago. Up to the points change anyway. That's when it sort of gets a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we're talking about next week. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Reddit. Please consider supporting the Patreon as well, which is like the best thing right now for us monetarily.
Yeah, you guys...
It's a huge deal.
You're great.
Thank you so much to everyone who has already supported the Patreon. You guys are absolutely awesome. If you want to get involved with that, the link to that is all down in the description. And we'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.